The 35th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog has been a bit of an odd one, and I can say with a great deal of certainty that we haven't heard everything from Sega that they have lined up, but considering most of the promotion for it started at the beginning of the year, it has left a lot of fans, including myself, feeling as though there's just not been much going on for this major milestone. Avoiding the usual point for this, that technically the anniversary started on the 23rd of June, many of the announcements made during the anniversary stream itself were well received, but there was one major blank, the metaphorical missing elephant in the room. There's no new Sonic game announced for this year. Now, this isn't to say that there's nothing coming. After all, we can't be sure how close Sega would want to keep their cards to their chest. But what adds to the growing anxiety with the fan base is with every passing event in the gaming space, we are seeing less and less of the blue guy at their booths, displays, and it's just baffling, to be honest. Some people have said that they have Crossworlds available, as well as Pico Park, which, to be honest, I don't really even know what that is still. But that's largely it for their presentations. Among the releases that we did get, Frontiers Definitive Edition, which I guess makes some changes to Frontiers. There's a Wendy's Kids Meal promotion, which always seems to coincide with a major release. Anytime they make one of these Kids Meal toys, you would think that's what it's meant for. We also have a Fortnite season confirmed, which, same thing, usually meant to promote something, right? I have been personally patient with this, and seeing all the reactionary content a couple months ago made me a little reluctant to make anything about this. However, given the continued silence on this front, I think it's been long enough to open the dialogue in earnest. What exactly is the plan? Sonic is everywhere, and having all these crossovers, and so many other brands have been featuring him, and all of these brands have some major release of their own. A short list of some of the things they've done in the last year and some change. Godzilla, DC, Avatar The Last Airbender, Fortnite, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Magic the Gathering. If you count all the Crossworld characters, you got SpongeBob, Persona, Minecraft, Pac-Man, Angry Birds, and even within their own brands, you got Crazy Taxi, Yakuza, Knights, Super Monkey Ball, and Like a Dragon. And I'm not even going to mention Hatsune Miku or Mega Man in that pile, because this is far from their first collaboration. I keep thinking this all has to be for something. There's just far too much effort to push Sonic back into the mainstream for all this to just be for crickets. But with every passing day, we're seeing even less and less in terms of games from Sega, almost in complete contrast with how much effort they put in to crossover content, which we are seeing more and more of. It's not like we've gotten a game every 5-year milestone or anything, but it is at least the case that they have announced something by that point. I'll just say it, Pico Park might even be fun, it's just not going to cut it. The 5th anniversary had 3D Blast and Fighters, which is probably nobody's favorite games, but that is 2 separate releases in the same year. The 10th anniversary was Sonic Adventure 2, and I don't need to elaborate. The 15th was Sonic 06, which, yes, awful train wreck of a game, but conceptually, not necessarily their worst attempt, and the execution fell way short, everyone knows it, but, you know, not an awful idea overall. Sonic Generations was the 20th, and you get it by now. The last mainline Sonic game was Frontiers, and I want to take a moment to say some things about that to help put the rest of this into context. Frontiers is a majorly flawed game, but it is still competent, and I can see the vision, even if it's lacking in some respects. The ideas were very large in scale, and while personally I felt it was a little over the top and they didn't quite commit hard enough to certain things, the game worked, and it felt like the closest thing we've had to an adventure title in a very long time. They did a lot of good things with it as well. The islands being open world was maybe my favorite aspect. Lots of challenges scattered around to help you build up your level and unlock abilities, while still featuring more traditional Sonic levels with the cyberspace gates. Even if I felt that much of those levels were conceptually or literally rehashes from old games, they accounted for all of that in the plot, and at least found a way to make them feel fresh and interesting, which is something I care a whole lot about. I don't like when this series goes back to the well for no reason, bringing back old familiar places just because they are familiar. Frontiers did not try to play it safe, and I loved it for that reason. My point is, I liked where they were going, and I would have loved to see them take the lessons they learned from Frontiers and do the same thing, but better, and improve on it. What better time to release a game like that than this anniversary? And yet, here we are with just a release of a game that we already had, a new indie game, some crossover stuff, collaborations, and no new entry on the horizon. Nothing. Inevitably, the next question I have to ask myself is, are expectations just too high? Is the recent resurgence of the franchise causing many of us to overestimate just what Sega can accomplish in their current state? Remember, so much of this revival is thanks to the movies, and much of the other small clusters of attention that have come our way are from collabs and Crossworlds having all these other characters from other franchises come in. It's fun, but ultimately Crossworlds is just a kart racer. The other part of me just wants to sit back and enjoy the ride. Sonic has never been in a better spot since the release of Heroes, and that game is one that many people point to as the beginning of the Dark Ages, though I would be more generous than that personally. I'm not really used to this. I'm actually used to so many mediocre efforts and disappointments that right now, when everything is coming up Hedgehog, it's hard to be too upset or mad and not getting a new game announcement when, even at this stage, we're in what one might call a silver era. Not quite the best it's ever been, but pretty damn good. I have a video in the works discussing the Sonic fandom as a whole, hopefully coming out very soon, bear with me. And light spoilers, it's largely positive. The optimism carries over, even in times like these, where it feels like a letdown that we're not getting everything we want immediately, when technically there's still 10 months left in this anniversary to go. Who knows what we're going to get announced between now and then? The key takeaway I'd like everyone to come away with from watching this is to just ask yourself, if you don't get a new game announced for the 35th anniversary, does it mean all of this is gonna flop? You're watching a video about a blue hedgehog game character, so you're probably not a casual fan. You're probably the kind of person who would have strong opinions, or at the very least thoughts on this. So just sit with that question, and while you're doing that, look at the rest of the success the franchise has had in the last 5 years or so. Yeah, we would all want a new game, but things are going pretty good, aren't they? At least I think so. I think this is the best it's been in a long time. So with that, I think that's all I got for my piece on the matter. There's just a lot to talk about in the general space in terms of actual content. I really do want to get around to the IDW stuff. It's just hard to figure out how to format that in a way that's both enjoyable and probably won't end up being like 30-minute long videos. So again, trying to figure all that stuff out. I want to make something good, and I'm probably not going to make anything if it's going to be trash. So I really don't want to add any extra work for my editor who does great stuff. So with that, I appreciate any feedback you can give. Comments down below, good or bad, always welcome. If you liked it, like the video. If you really liked it, subscribe. Tell all of your friends that everything is coming up Hedgehog.